On my recent trip to Paris, I met up with a dear friend who lives there, and we decided to visit the Jacquemart-André Museum, which is one of her favorite places in Paris to visit. We took a metro from the St. Paul area towards the 8th arrondissement and then walked a short distance to arrive at the mansion. We had made reservations for lunch at the restaurant that's within the museum, so we timed our walk through to end with lunch when it opened. This beautiful mansion was built in 1869 and finished in 1875 by a private couple named Jacquemart-André. They filled it with works of art that they had collected from their travels around the world. After her husband Edward died, Nellie finished adding to the collection, and she stayed true to their agreement and donated the mansion and the collection to the Institut de France as a public museum when she died. It opened to the public in 1913. This is one of the most beautiful places I think I've visited in Paris so far. It's one of my new favorite day trip places to go. If you ever find yourself with a few hours to spare while you're in Paris, this is definitely a hidden gem of a museum. It's not too busy, it's not hard to find, it's easy to walk through, but it's just beautiful and restful and elegant and full of amazing works of art. The mansion is very grand, but there's a feeling here that you can tell there's a sense of it having been someone's home, and these are someone's furnishings. It's lavish and large, but still it's somehow restful and wonderful to walk through. You can wander the rooms and imagine coming into these spaces for glittering formal parties while live musicians play from the gallery up above. I think this marble colonnaded entryway was just about my favorite thing of the whole building. This was just so pretty, these beautiful stairways with the iron railings and all the marble. You can just imagine wandering through these spaces and into the state apartments, which is where they held their formal receptions and large parties in the era. And because I was with a friend who's a native and a local to Paris, she told me a secret that the two of the big grand ballrooms have a wall between them that has a mechanism built in where the wall drops down into the floor to make the space into a double amount of space for a party. We were not shown, obviously we weren't shown a demonstration of this, but what a high-tech piece of equipment for that era. You can make your way upstairs and see the landing. You go across a little walkway where you can see there was access across these landings where musicians would have played for parties below, and there are beautiful tapestries lining the walls upstairs, which of course I'm always fascinated by. I'm enthralled with any kind of medieval tapestry work, and the ceilings, just everything here is just sort of jaw-droppingly beautiful. There are pieces they've collected from various places around the world, but a lot of Italian works of art. And this painting from the 1400s, we had to get in closer to this. The paint on this is like the day it was painted. It is so vibrant. It just stopped us in our tracks. It was just absolutely beautiful. And of course you want to touch it, but you can't. So pretty. And then right next to this gorgeous painting was this odd one that we could not figure out. It's old, but it looks somehow very amateurish. We stared and stared at this. There was also a temporary exhibit going on while we were there, which we visited. It had some very strange paintings. I didn't take a lot of pictures of it, and then we moved on and went down into what is the private apartments. These spaces include some of their private sitting areas and their master bedrooms. This was his bedroom. They all face out, with windows facing out onto the garden. We did not go out into the gardens because it wasn't really the time of year for it. But we enjoyed the view out the window from her office. This is where she would sit and do her correspondence. After one last glance at this beautiful staircase, we continued wandering out and into the restaurant, which had just opened, where we were seated for a lovely lunch. This was a really nice little space to have a meal. I had the best quiche Lorraine I think I've ever had anywhere, and it was kind of the perfect end to the morning. From here we went our separate ways. My friend went on to an appointment in the city, and I continued on to the Rodin Museum, which I will cover in another video. If you enjoyed this content and you'd like to see more of our travels and travel tips, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.